welcome to this video. So in this video, we are going to discuss what is a database and then we will look at what is a database management system. So let's get started with the video. So what is a database? It's a place or a tool for efficiently storing and retrieving the data. Okay. So in a database, we can store the data and we can also retrieve or query the data from that database. Now you will often hear this term, that is relational database. Now what happens in relational database, we are actually storing the data in form of tables, where the tables are going to be created based on rows and columns, okay, and collection of related tables that contain related data, that is known as a relational database. So in one database, there will be multiple tables and each of these tables will be related to one another. So in a particular database, multiple tables are going to have some sort of relationship between one another. Based on that relationship, we can group multiple tables under one database. Okay, and that is what we call the relational database. Now, as you can see from this diagram, a database contains data and the data is going to be stored in a tabular format, okay, in case of a relational database system. And the database is also going to contain metadata. Now, what is a metadata? It's basically data about the data. So here we get information about the data type, okay, about the data structures, and all of these information actually help us to store and manage that data efficiently in the database. Okay, so database is mainly how we can handle and retrieve and store the data and the metadata. Okay, now we have said that in case of a relational data, we are discussing about tables. So in a relational database, it's basically a combination of related tables. Now a table is created of rows and columns. So here you can see that these all are the rows, okay, and these are the columns. Now in a table, a particular record is stored in a row. Okay, so we call all the rows to be records. And in a table, all the columns, they store the different attributes for the same record. Okay, so as we know, a table is created from rows and columns. The rows store the records and the columns, they store the attributes for the same record. Okay, and each individual unit that is found by the intersection of a row and column is called a cell. Okay, so all of these are known as the cells, and each cell is going to have a unique or a distinct value. Okay, so here we have an example. You can see that in the columns we have the column headings written. So these are all the different attributes that we have for these three records. So here we have three rows of data. So these three basically are the three records. Okay, and for each of these three records, we have these five attributes. We have the name, we have the gender, we have the age, state, and country. Okay, so for each of these three records, we are going to enter the values for these five attributes. And each value here is a unique or a distinct value, and this is known as a cell. This rectangular area is called a cell. Okay, now let's understand the basics of DBMS or database management system. Now what is a database management system? It allows the creation of new databases and the data structures of a database. So we just now learned that what is a database? It's basically an efficient way or a tool of storing and querying the data. So those database creations and the data structure creations of that database can be done in a database management system efficiently. Okay, now it allows the insertion of the data, modification of the existing data, and deletion of the data in the database. It allows the data retrieval and querying. So whatever data we are storing in these relational databases, we can very efficiently retrieve and query that data with the help of DBMS. DBMS helps us to store this data over a long period of time. Okay, so whenever we want to do a historical data analysis, or let's say we are storing a data or a set of transactions over a period of 1 year, okay, such long duration data storages or even more than that can actually be efficiently done in the help of database management systems. They provide recovery against failure, or what is known as disaster recovery. So there may be any hardware failures or any software failures, or because of any such reason, it might be that the database system has crashed. But it actually provides us disaster recovery options, that even if the system crashes, the data stored in the database management system is going to be intact. Okay, and this is one of the features, one of the very important features of an efficient database management system. And lastly, we can provide control access to the users. So there will be different users who will be using the databases which are managed or stored in a database management system. With the help of a DBMS, we will be able to assign or grant privileges and access to various users. So these were the basics of database and database management systems that I wanted to discuss in this video. Let's meet you in the next video. Thank you.